Why do some people have 2 seders and some have 1? Why do conservative and Orthodox Jews outside of Israel celebrate Passover 8 days, and Reform Jews in Israel they celebrate it 7 days? Why does the Torah say 7 days? It's called Second Day Yontif. What's it all about? Well, originally, before they had a set calendar, they used to have to send messages to the diaspora, which they did by lighting fires on mountaintops or sending riders. And they wanted to make sure that people did not violate the sanctity of the holidays by inadvertently working when they shouldn't. And so to make it a little safer, safety net, they added a second day Yontif, both to the beginning and end of the 3 foot festivals, the Shalosh Regalim. Those are Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Therefore, the 8-day holiday of Pesach for conservative and Orthodox Jews in the diaspora really is a 7-day holiday according to the Torah. That's the way it's celebrated in Israel, and that's the way it's celebrated by Reform and Reconstructionist Jews in the diaspora. Shavuot, which is a 1-day holiday in the Torah and celebrated that way in Israel, and by Reform and Reconstructionist Jews outside of Israel, celebrated for 2 days by conservative and Orthodox Jews in the diaspora. And Sukkot, which is 7 days plus 1, Shmini Atzeret, in the Torah, which is a total of 8 days, becomes 9 days for conservative and Orthodox Jews outside of Israel. Now, why is that? When the calendar was finally set, you'd think you could just do away with that extra day. But the Talmud says, be careful about traditions handed to you by your ancestors. And because of that idea that the diaspora was used to observing a second day of Yontif, then the traditional Jews, which became conservative and Orthodox, then decided to keep it. So, except in Israel, everybody in Israel observes for just that 1 day of Yontif. That means, since the first 2 and last 2 days of Passover are both Yontif days, sacred, because according to the Torah, the first and last days are, and we double it, that came the tradition of having 2 seders for each night of Yontif. Also, if you've got in-laws, you go to your parents one night and the spouse's parents the other night, it works out well. But anyway, that's the legal basis of why we have such a thing as Second Day Yontif, and the 3 times it appears. Now, according to the Torah, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are also Yom Tov days. Yom Kippur could never be doubled, even in the diaspora, because he couldn't fast for 48 hours. And Rosh Hashanah is observed for 2 days, even in Israel. So that's a strange custom where Israel borrowed from the diaspora that tradition. Anyway, hope that helps answer the basic question of why we have a second day Yontif. Shalom.